like you probably saw like all of, those people come through and go and, emceeing there with, so like Michael Keaton, I mean, even him I felt like that was crazy because like I saw some old clips of him doing stuff. I'm like, he's a phenomenal comedian. And then I didn't even know that because like I grew up knowing him as Batman,
Sure.
like, so I was like, oh, that's Batman. And then I'm like, Batman did stand up before he was Batman. And it like he had that Bazooka Joe joke that just I would butcher it, but he's kills. And like things like that. I was like, wow, I'm like, you got to sit and you had a front row seat through all of these people who are your peers that, you were like watching like legends be made by Mitzi Shore. I mean, it was
an incredible time, and I broke out before the other guys. I did the Tonight Show before Jay and before Dave. And in fact, they talk about it all the time when they talk about me, that they were in the kitchen at the Comedy Store watching my first appearance on the Tonight Show. And so I broke out first, but I would always go back there whenever, I was working in Vegas. Let me digress. When I first got on the Tonight Show, I just hustled the talent coordinators as much as I could to come and see me. I didn't have a manager in those days, but I had been a salesman. I sold life insurance at one time in my life, and I knew how to sell. So I sold Craig Tennis and another guy named Paul Black. They were the talent coordinators of the Tonight Show to come and see me. It took a long time, but I finally got them to come and see me. And the night they came to see me, I was auditioning with a comedy team named Baum and Eston. Bruce later became Bruce Baby Baum Eston. And Larry Eston was a writer on Cheers later on. They were a comedy team, and a new kid named Billy Crystal. I don't know what happened to Billy, but if you find him, try to get him on the show. It'll help out his career. But nonetheless, that night, I had to go on in front of about 20 people and make this guy laugh. And it worked. He got me on the Tonight Show. He said, "You're on next week." I went there and I got bumped. I got makeup. They brought me down to the green room and ready to bring me on. They said, "We ran out of time. Come back next week." I came back next week. You don't eat for another week, and you fret and worry. 26 million people watched that show. One appearance on that show could launch your career. 26 million people watch that show. Now, the second time I get there, they put me in makeup up to my dressing room, back down to the green room. We ran out of time. Come back next week. That's the third week. I did 3 weeks in a row. The fourth week I go there. By this time, everybody back home didn't believe I was ever going to be on the Tonight Show, but by this time, I'm sitting in makeup, and the producer came in, Fred Dakota. He said, "I got bad news for you." I said, "What?" He said, "You're going on tonight." Now you get a lump in your throat, the size of a grapefruit, and now they come and get me out of the green room, and they take me to that long walk. I'm standing behind that curtain, and like I say, 26 million people watch that show. The music is playing. Doc Severinsen's in commercial break. They're in commercial, so Doc Severinsen's playing music. And when the music stops, you're walking out. So I'm back there. The coordinator leaves you alone. You're all alone. And now I'm thinking, I can't remember my first line. What's my first joke? now I'm talking to God one-on-one. Oh, God, you brought me this far. Don't let me, please stay with me right now. Now that if I bomb, not only who watched that show, every coordinator watched that show. Vegas buyers watched that show. Singers. All the singers who wanted a clean comedian to open for them, singers in our industry, were watching that show. And my mother had everybody back in Harvey, Illinois, watching. If I bomb, I can't even go back home. So anyhow, the music stops and my heart stops. And I hear Johnny say, "We're back now." And I'm glad you're in such a good mood tonight, because my next guest is making his first appearance on the Tonight Show. Will you welcome, please, Tom Dreesen? Now, that one line, "I'm glad you're in such a good mood tonight." He set the tone,
Yeah.
This guy's coming out for his first time. They open up that curtain, you walk out, you can't see the audience, bright lights hit you. There's a spot on the floor you got to hit at a green tape mark. You hit that spot, you can't see the audience, they're applauding, and you get that first joke out, and it got a laugh. And then you did the second joke, and it got a laugh. And I did the third joke, and it got a laugh. And the fourth joke, I heard Johnny and Ed McMahon laughing behind me. Now I get applause. I end up getting 8 applause. I finished with, I said, "You've been a wonderful audience. This has been my first appearance on the Tonight Show. And show business is a tough life. So if you like me, just if you like me and you're Protestant, say a prayer. If you're Catholic, light a candle. If you're Jewish, somebody in your family owns a nightclub. Tell them about me. We appreciate it. And I say goodnight. I walk out. I go through the curtain, and the coordinator, Craig Tennis, come running around the corner. He said, go back. Johnny wants you back. Go back. I said, go back and sit by Johnny. He said, don't go back and sit by Johnny. Just go back, So I go back through the curtain for a second bow, and Johnny gave me that little circle that he always did, when he scored. And I never stopped working from that moment. I ended up doing 61 appearances on The Tonight Show. After that, I was doing Dinah Shore, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, Johnny Carson, Midnight Special, Rock Concert, Soul Train, American Bandstand. I was doing $20,000 Pyramid, Match Game. I was doing sitcoms as acting. I was the only white comedian ever to do Soul Train because I later did an album in front of an all-black audience called That White Boy is Crazy. Well, I'm sorry, Shani, but also I started appearing with Sammy Davis Jr. saw me, took me on the road. The singers, Mac Davis, Tony Orlando and Don, James Darren, Frankie Avalon, Gladys Knight the Pips, Natalie Cole. They were all asking me to come and tour with them because they wanted a comedian that wouldn't offend their audiences for family audience. In those days, there was no cable television. You couldn't say damn or hell on stage, So right. I was working so much at one time I was on an airplane heading west and I looked out the window. I saw myself on a plane going east,